Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice qualifiers, as we're about to jump into a next qualifying match, best of 5, and it will be a TvT, Rotti.
It's going to be a long one, I think, best of 5 TvT, even though there are lots of Cyclone builds these days that can end things rather quickly. But when two players of this level go up against each other, where one is often a defensive player and the other one is non-stop aggression, I think that this is indeed going to be quite a long series. I'm ready for it. Our first map is going to be played on Neon Violet Square. And we're looking at the main base of Storms Gaming, GuMiho.
See what he can do. Always a master of TvT and has been for a long time. Down at the bottom right-hand corner in the blue, it is Maru. Didn't have the best of qualifiers yesterday, but it was on the European server.
Yeah, I think that at one point he was just fed up with it, and he's like, all right, I actually underestimated this. The days where we can win with 260 ping, they are long gone. We actually need decent ping, and I do get decent ping on the American server. Of course, it is far from perfect, but it is neither for the Europeans. Just the Americans are going to have a very good ping.
Yup.
And we don't have that many of them here, actually. I think Scarlet is still in Korea as well, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I think so.
He must be in the... Yeah, of course, he's playing GSL, so why wouldn't he be? Yeah, so I feel like only Probe and maybe True, if True is actually in America right now. There were very few people in this qualifier that were actually in America at the moment. I guess Jam is in Mexico.
Yeah. Yeah, so a bit of an odd spot, I suppose, for them, as we're going to have Mr. Maru having that factory on the way. Likewise over on the other side for GuMiho, but no surprises there for sure, GuMiho.
I think we're going to see Proxy Starport on the top side of the map.
Maybe.
And I kind of wonder what he's going to do with that Proxy Starport. Is it going to be for a fast Liberator? Is it going to be for a medevac that's going to potentially maybe drop some units in the main base? Or is it just going to be Cloak Banshee? I guess that's possible as well.
Definitely is. The Reaper's not going to spot that anytime soon unless...
Hey, we're playing on the new patch, right?
You don't know.
No?
I don't know.
I think the patch is live, so I don't think there's anything you can really do about it. You log into the client and...
I guess so.
The patch is live. Then again, I thought they're going to release the patch. Oh, maybe it's just the map patch, actually. I think it's the map patch, not the balance patch. The ladder maps have been updated, but the balance not, because there's no way they would do that before Leipzig.
Yeah, Abiogenesis is on the ladder map now, so...
Even though we shouldn't say, no way. Alright, so Maru picks off that Reaper, and the Reaper didn't hop into the main base, so GuMiho doesn't really know anything about this Proxy Starport. It is indeed going to be a Cyclone for now. Ooh. Maru could potentially pick off this heli, and he's actually kind of pushing the... Oh, he sees the SCV. So I think that GuMiho might scout this, but after losing Aurea, GuMiho is absolutely scouting it with his Hellion, so that is nice at least, and he was already producing a Viking, but can he deal with the Reapers?
Yeah, it's a good question. Even the SCVs here along for the ride. So the Cyclone's about to pop out, which can technically put on a big timer on this and just push them back quite heavily.
It's going to take a longer. It's kind of an awkward fight, right? The SCV can maybe soak up a little bit of damage. Reapers can regenerate. The SCV can also heal the Hellion. Maru is wasting a lot of time with his Liberator, so that means that this Viking is just going to fly straight into it. And I think this Liberator at best is going to be able to get like 3-4 kills. I mean, the Cyclone is here as well. Actually absorbs one of these shots. What a bro. But the Reapers and the Hellions do get into the main base as well.
It's darted in there. And unfortunately for the Cyclone, it doesn't really kill the Hellions and Reapers that quickly, because they're all light units. And then from that, we'll do a little bit of damage. 6 workers go down for that.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's enough, though. I feel like that Maru was definitely hoping for more, especially proxying the Starport, getting a Liberator out that quickly. If it doesn't get scouted, you know, it can really do a lot of damage, even though the Viking was on the way already. But the Viking could potentially be helping out in the natural against Reapers and Hellions. If the Liberator shows up then, it's a completely different ballgame.
Like the Viking just sits above the Starport as well, waiting for anything to come out of it. So it could get a few pot shots off, especially on patrol as well there. Nice and handy. Just out of range, can't see it.
GuMiho is going to follow this up with Cloak Banshees, and I'm not sure if Maru is ready for that yet. Maru is going to take a look at this ramp, see if he can make some magic happen, but loses his Hellion almost immediately. But he might be able to make some magic happen in this Cyclone fight. Of course, GuMiho can just repair his Cyclones. GuMiho keeps the Cyclones alive for a very long time. So he's going to be able to clean this up without really any losses at all. Traps that Cyclone as well. GuMiho is flawless in this game so far.
Strong crisis management there, and nice Banshee now. What's there to defend against it since it has Cloak?
Turret, I think.
Is there a turret down? Whoa!
Not yet. I mean, there
annoying.
is a Cyclone, but one Cyclone is not going to be able to kill it immediately. What an amazing start for GuMiho. I feel almost everything went right for GuMiho in this start. Okay, he's got 3 Cyclones. That should easily be enough. Even though that Banshee did get close to the edge of glory. It wasn't enough.
Bobbing and weaving around there in the middle as well with those little dudes.
He's playing bumper cars.
That's right.
In Neon Violet Square. Woo!
Get on with work, man. Get on with it.
I'm just, you know, now we've got Neon Violet Square. Now I'm just waiting for the equivalent of Rainbow Road of Mario Kart. Come on, guys. Give me some happiness in my StarCraft life.
Okay, the next time I make another map, I'll try to make another one. It will be Rainbow Road themed, just for you.
I think it will be very popular.
I think so. I think so.
A little bit of K-pop music in the back.
As popular as Fruitland, maybe.
Hey, that one survived for a little while.
It was very colourful, to say the least.
Lots and lots of Cyclones being produced at both sides. This is kind of, you know, the face of TvT right now, but GuMiho is just incredibly far ahead, guys. He's up 10 workers, he's up a base, and he's even a tiny bit up in army supply. I have no idea what Maru is supposed to do here. Maru is going to try to get his own Cloak Banshee as he repositioned the starport. He scans, and he actually sees, like, okay, if this stays the same, my Cloak Banshee is actually going to do quite well. Before we're going to focus on the Cloak Banshees of Maru, we're going to take a look at this Cloak Banshee of GuMiho.
It's going for a great angle, because if it actually goes into the main base, the turret is so far on the left-hand side that I think it's out of range of vision. Yeah.
Force another scan. 2 Cyclones, well, the other Cyclones show up as well. So that Banshee does fall, but not before taking 5 SUVs. Look at GuMiho, he's getting in that engineering bay right now. And I'd love to see a turret per mineral line. Is it necessary? Normally not. Like, this is a very brilliant switch by Maru, but I almost feel that GuMiho is so far ahead that he should be asking himself, how can I still lose this game? Well, maybe if I have 0 detection and multiple Cloak Banshees show up. So I feel like he's in a situation where he can easily throw down a turret per base, because there's nothing really he can lose to besides a bunch of Cloak Banshees doing way too much damage.
There's a scary spot as well where if you don't have enough tanks to defend for you, there is like high volatility in these Cyclone versus Cyclone wars when they do occur. Realizes there's a tank at the back and doesn't want to take that fight. So
Maru is going to start his harassment real soon, I believe. I think the Banshees are almost ready to fly in. And not a single turret. Now the Cyclones are really far out of position as well. This is the one way that Maru could absolutely come back into this game. But he needs 15 to 20 SCV kills.
Yeah, scans are available, but not too much anti-air. And that's, if the scan lands right, should kill this off.
He has another one, though.
Where is it?
I thought I saw another
down
one.
in the third, I think, in the little blue dot in the third.
I know, but I think that's the SUV. Oh, no.
There you go.
There you go. So, I mean, I said 15. He's at number 13 right now. Scan is going to go down. He gets 15. So, it's a game. He's not ahead. He needed more to be ahead, but I feel it's more of a game than it was a minute ago.
The only thing that's keeping in right now is those 2 tanks at the front. But how many Cyclones? There's so many Cyclones! Oh, I think he could just smash into it.
2 tanks and 6 Cyclones against 13 Cyclones. I think you're right. I think it depends a little bit on the positioning and the angle. Maru doesn't have a wall of, actually. He doesn't have a bunch of supply depots keeping these tanks safe. And GuMiho is going to return the favor one more time, this time with 2 Banshees just flying straight into the main base. He's going to be able to get a few more STVs.
It's brutal.
GuMiho has killed a lot of STVs in this game as well.
Yeah, it really has. And it continues to do so. These Cyclones eventually will get the scan, but I actually don't think he had energy for scan at all across those. This one even died to a Viking.
Yeah, he did kill 6 STVs. I mean, we kind of looked at the wrong moment there. That's kind of sad. We were like, oh, he's losing STVs at home. And at the same time, he's shooting at the depot. But before that Banshee was shooting at the depot, Maru did kill 6 workers. Doesn't change the fact that he lost 14 at home and he's still behind.
GuMiho just gets TvT. He has for years, absolutely years. Losing some of the shots on those workers as they go into a simulator, but aside from that, Maru's not getting too much.
Maru should have gotten, I feel like 2 or 3 more STVs there than he actually did. He gets 3. He does something bad. The Cyclones are about to find the starport, by the way. GuMiho's probably not crazy. He's like, hey, wait a minute. You had a starport, then you proxied it, then I didn't see it for a while, and suddenly you have Cloak Banshees. So he's going to find it with all of his Cyclones. This Banshee has been circling. That's maximum value in the end.
Yeah.
But this is also the end of that starport.
Ripping it down there by the Cyclones. Now what are they going to do? They didn't want to push really aggressively, especially now. There's so many tanks. It's very difficult for it to do so.
I feel that Maru bought a lot of time for himself, though, with all the harassment. Of course, GuMiho is going up to 4 bases. GuMiho is still ahead in army supply, but you know, Maru is definitely clawing his way back into it. And with tanks, if he gets tanks in a good position and he can protect them as well against these Cyclones, if GuMiho throws away his army, then it's truly a competitive game.
Yeah, if it was heightened Cyclone numbers from Maru on the other side, I wouldn't have minded if GuMiho mixed in a lot of Hellions at the front, but Cyclone Tank is a far different prospect, and both players now going into a lot of starports.
Yeah.
Start bolstering.
And it doesn't really matter how bad your start was, right? If you're able to max out in the end, of course, there's a chance you'll still be a base behind and an upgrade behind. But, you know, if Maru can max out, he's going to be in a much better position than he was earlier on when he was down 20 STVs and down in army supply and basically had nothing going for himself.
Will GuMiho let him get there, though?
I don't know. Running into tanks is hard.
Yeah, it is very difficult. You're right. And he's trying to secure himself that 4th base.
Damn, that's a lot of bullets in the air.
That is a lot of bullets.
What is this, the 4th of July?
A lot of fireworks. Actually, that was a skin for a little Cyclone. Choo choo choo. Like little Catherine wheel skin. I'm okay with that.
I actually feel that like we should have one crazy skin pack, you know, where Hellions are like actual race cars, you know, like convertibles, and like you said, Cyclones just turn into like 3-wheelers and stuff like that. I don't know.
Hellions like little American flag NASCARs.
Yeah,
instead.
exactly. No, like that would be amazing.
Sick. A lot of people would use that.
Yeah, no, I'd buy the hell out of it. Let's be honest.
Yeah. All right, so let's see. It's not going to push him. Realizes it's too much of a well-entrenched position.
It's always scary to run up a ramp, especially if you know there are tanks. I think GuMiho is very well aware of the fact that his army is a lot bigger than the army of Maru. But is it big enough to just run into tanks that are already set up?
Yeah.
I mean, look at GuMiho. He's expanding like a madman. That is his 5th base, guys. His 5th.
He can just keep doing that if he wants to. Because that's the one thing that you do. Even if your opponent, they've got a well-entrenched position and you're higher, this is what you do. You take every base on the other side. And what's your opponent going to do? Send 4 Hellions to deal with that? You just deal with that and then you should be fine.
Yeah, I don't think there's a planetary at the 4th, right?
No.
Well, there definitely isn't at the 3rd base. Well, there is at the 4th. So the planetaries have not totally fallen out of fashion yet. This is a nice little drive-by. GuMiho is maxed out, so this is actually super annoying to deal with as well. He's going to walk over a couple of Vikings. But we'll keep him safe. There's a Doom drop in the main with a couple of Cyclones. Okay, that's a good way to eventually free up more supply for tanks as well.
Yeah.
But Cyclones in the main base actually just destroy things very quickly. He gets the add-on. That's very nice.
Unexpectedly quickly, actually. Some of these buildings are going down quite fast. And also this shutting down some mine time at the other side here. Scans keep dropping down over at the 4th base location for Maru. So GuMiho just wants an in, but not going to find it, I don't think.
Those armies really want to clash. They desperately want to clash. GuMiho is still sharking around. Going to try his luck into the natural one more time. I think he has seen a couple of times that there aren't that many tanks. Look at that. They're just running back and forth, back and forth. And of course, GuMiho has been doing this with a better economy. And I like these Cyclone drops in the main a lot.
Yeah.
Eventually, you want to get a few more Vikings, a few more tanks. What an excellent way to get rid of your Cyclones.
Exploit the immobility here of Maru, who is so heavy on his... Oh, he's going to land?
Oh, he might?
No. Oh, okay, no, he's just going to take the fight full with the Vikings on the high ground. In the air, I should say, as well as the Liberators also sieging up a little bit, but not really doing too much. I think the Viking fight wins out for Maru, but he doesn't win the ground.
Yeah, I think Maru is going to win the fight, but he's going to be forced to abandon the base for a little while. I say win the fight, actually. He only has 2 tanks left, so maybe that's not totally the case. And the Cyclones in the main as well. GuMiho just a little too rich and a little too furious in this first game. Damn, what a performance. Just from the beginning, I felt... You know, it's funny as well because the Reapers were shooting at the Hellion and it kind of pushed the Hellion towards that starport.
Yeah.
If the Liberator shows up and that Viking is actually chilling in the natural, it really turns into a completely different game because you have to pull all the STVs immediately. You probably still lose 3 or 4. Right now, that Liberator didn't really get much done at all.
Yeah, what can I say? GuMiho just looks so good in this matchup. And he has for ages and ages. I've said it before in the cast, so we've got to repeat it.
It also almost seems that it doesn't really seem to phase him which meta it is in TvT, right? You have a lot of people like complain about a certain meta. It's like, oh, this meta is toxic or that meta is toxic. GuMiho just plays whatever is strong, you know? If he has to play bio, he plays bio. If he can play mech, obviously he loves to play mech. If we have to open up with a bunch of Cyclones, we'll open up with Cyclones. Is it Reaper Hellion? It's Reaper Hellion. Like, Yeah.
And that's the one that's more prevalently kind of crazy compared to all the other metas in the past, right? The Cyclone meta currently that exists in this TvT, and he performs it beautifully.
Yeah, I love it in the end, where eventually he realized that he has so many Cyclones, he didn't just throw them away, he started dropping them in the main, you know, 4
nice.
at a time. At the same time, you free up supply for your Vikings, for your tanks. Yeah, you can't really do much more right.
And it's actually rare, I suppose, in TvT, or metas, not necessarily right now, where you lose the air game so hard there to Maru, but it actually just doesn't matter. You've done so much damage on the ground that you're able to just prevail. So I liked it.
Game number 2 is going to be played on Blackpink. Let's see if Maru are aggressive there. I mean, we said in the beginning, right? One defensive, one aggressive.
Right.
GuMiho starts being aggressive if he likes the army that he's working with. But early on, he's often like very macro-oriented. And Maru is just like, you know, laser focused. I need to do damage. And however way, with whatever units, it doesn't really matter. Often, of course, has a lot of different types of builds as well. But Maru, I feel, always has the idea of like, all right, we're going to start a game of StarCraft, and I'm going to attack you, and I'm going to get ahead. Like, that's just how he sees this game.
Yeah, so let's see if Maru kind of changes things up to try and deal with someone like GuMiho, so prevalent in the matchup as we get into game number 2. And up in the top right-hand corner in the blue, it is Maru for Jinair Green Wings.
And in the left bottom side, the former GSL champion of 2017. Representing Sidestorm Gaming, it is GuMiho.
Strong man. Maru's going to have a hard time taking him out, I think, here in this best of 5. Have to pit his hopes against some of the people in the lower bracket if it goes that way.
I mean, at least Zess has been eliminated.
Yeah.
And I think Maru already beat Deer, right? Wasn't that the previous matchup?
Yes.
For Maru?
It was.
But I mean, if he pulled SCVs, then there's a good chance that Deer is going to be a lot more ready for that. If they will square off again, GuMiho needs a second. That gives us perhaps time to talk. What are these players all truly playing for? Are they playing for money? In a way, yes. Because you get directly seeded into the group stage, which means you walk away with, I think at least it's like 1,000 or 1,200 even, right?
Might even be more.
The prize pool is pretty steep. I think it's like top 20. I know top 8 is like 4.5 or 8 actually already.
Yeah, it's so much. The prize pool breakdown is so much because it's 400k.
Yes.
First place is 150,000.
Second
place
75?
I think it might be 60
okay,
or something.
You know, I have a screenshot actually.
Or maybe I'm actually, no, maybe I'm confusing Pyeongchang because I was making notes on it recently.
I can take a look at this real quick. We talk a little bit about the praise. Yeah, second is 65, so we're both wrong. You said 60, I said 75. If you make top 8, you get $10,000. And group stage is top 20, correct? Because you're going to have 4 groups of 5, or?
It might be.
Or maybe it's top 24? Then it would be, if it's the same format as last year, which I assume it is, it's like 4 groups of 6. And the group stage is top 24, so if you make it through this qualifier, you get directly seeded into the group stage. You obviously avoid the risk of being eliminated in that open bracket phase. You get at least $2,000. And if you just win one match, I think you get 200 per game as well that you win. But if you finish a little bit higher in your group, you get 2,500. If you finish top 16, you get 3,000, top 12, 5,000.
Yeah, I like that there's incentive to be able to perform at your best every single game as well. Something like that, because in the end, you're going into those group stages, and depending on, you know, I think it's like a top couple advance from each of those group stages. So you just want to put in all your effort, try and defeat as many people as you can.
And of course, just being part of the Intel Extreme Masters World Championships is amazing. It truly has grown as one of the events of the year. It's been going on for a long time, and you know, of course, we had a couple crazy finals as well with the proxy gates, I think. But back then, you know, IEM was, you know, it was changing a little bit. But the last few years, like Katowice has just been this steady event, and I think especially last year, everyone was like, "Oh my God, we love this format, we love this tournament, we love the broadcast. Everything about it was great."
Todd was mentioning, I remember back to the original Intel Extreme Masters Katowice, where Jarrett Kale was on the analysis desk with QXC and Todd, I think. That was our analysis desk. Crazy times.
I think I recall that as well. It's a long time ago.
Yeah.
I actually did an IEM once as well in Katowice, where I was only on the desk. I didn't cast that one.
Really?
Yeah. It was like
when was that?
4 years ago, I think.
2014?
Yeah, I think it was the one with the PvP final that Zess won.
Oh, wait, no, that's not 4 years. That's 3 years.
I feel like I've been casting the last 3 years.
I can't remember because I don't...
Or maybe it was the PvP proxy gate thing, actually, where...
Maybe.
I don't know, it's a long time ago.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it, though. It's still fun to be here, but obviously I enjoy casting a lot more. It
Of
really
course.
makes you feel like you're more in touch with the game.
Alright.
As we have this Reaper running into the Cyclone. Once again, GuMiho looking steady so far, getting a couple of early exchanges. These two Hellions sneaking their way via the north side of the map. I mean, GuMiho is going to be out of position for it, but at the same time, Maru is not going to have that much at home. I'm actually quite worried for Maru here. Yes, is he going to do damage with these Hellions? I absolutely do believe so. But is he going to be able to deal with the Cyclones on the other side of the map? He ends up losing an Hellion before really starting his arrest.
Oh, no.
And this is a very scary push, the one that GuMiho is making.
It definitely is. That Cyclone
my
gets
God.
caught on the other side. Oh, it goes down. Oh, there's not much damage he has available to him here. One Cyclone has to stay out of range of those for the moment. It's going to return fire here. But he's through. He's through the wall. He needs to repair this so heavily.
Oh, his reactor is going to take a lot of damage as well. And there's a very good chance that this reactor will fall. There she goes. I think at this point, this is already, once again, a bad start for Maru. He is up in workers, though, so that is not that bad. But losing your reactor, and obviously GuMiho is not going to give up. He's not going to stop here. He's going to be like, all right, I killed the depot. I've also killed your reactor. I'm going to be able to outproduce you. If only he had 2 SCVs with his army, eh? If he could repair his own Cyclones, the game could end here.
Absolutely. Those two at the front are very weak right now. He's going to push up, though.
Oh, the bait.
Oh, very good micro as well here on the Cyclones. And the fact that he has 2 Reapers, 2 Hellions to actually do a bit more damage. If the Cyclones target any of the units other than the Cyclones for Maru, then they're not doing much damage at all.
No, the only difference, the only downside there for GuMiho is that all of his Cyclones were quite bruised. Obviously, one was super low.
Yeah.
That he couldn't really get too close because then it's impossible to actually pick up your Cyclones. So he was far away. And the Reapers were tanking, but his own Cyclones were not dealing the damage that he was looking for.
It's just an annoyance. Look at this nuisance, sending in 1 Reaper to try and do some damage up this mineral line. Doesn't get much done, but it's caused some problems.
I love how Maru just built a tech lab. He's like, you killed my reactor? That's fine, I need tanks anyway.
Might as well switch. That's
Yeah.
fine. Pick up into the main, 6 Marines.
Yeah, now he brought a couple of SCVs. GuMiho is not done yet. GuMiho has done quite a bit of damage, but he's going to try to run in here. And if these Marines can soak up a tank shot or 2, he needs to split up his Cyclones though. He's eating a lot of damage at once, but Cyclones do so much damage. The Cloak Banshee is going to show up as well.
God. Yeah, this could be bad, especially with the Marines in the main base as well. He's going to get so many workers. GuMiho is just a monster.
He's everywhere. He's got the Banshee on top of the Cyclones. The Marines were dealing quite a bit of damage. It's only 11 SCVs, I say right now. Those Cyclones, they could have done a lot more, though. They were sleeping on the job. They were going to go for the command center. But GuMiho perhaps trying to aim for a little too much there. He could have killed so many SCVs. If he would have jumped on top of the SCVs, that's instead of -11, you're looking at -25.
Yeah, that's actually ridiculous how much he could have done there. But, I mean, he's still ahead. He's still ahead, so what can you say, really? He's going to be able to set his self-infrastructure up at the back at home. 4 barracks go down, so going to make this fast and furious with the bio count.
It must be frustrating for Maru. It's just like, God, I can't get out of the first 7 minutes of this game being on an even footing with my opponent. This is GuMiho's early game is, rock solid is the only way to truly describe it.
Getting those repairs going as well. Getting those Banshees repaired up and good to go means that if more harassment can potentially happen in the few moments that happen here. And it's Maru setting up on mech against a bio play. So not only is he behind, but he's going to be behind for a long time in his corner of the map. And he's going to be constricted there for quite a while.
This is funny as well. Since when do I live in a world where GuMiho versus Maru turns into GuMiho playing bio and Maru playing mech?
It's a bit topsy-turvy. We're in Stranger Things. It's the upside down.
Yeah, what year is this? This is not the way that things are supposed to be. Maru, of course, traditionally a bigger bio player than GuMiho. GuMiho's always loved mech, even when he was the only one doing it. These days, it is actually very strong. So seeing Maru bust out a mech build here is, not the weirdest thing ever. But I mean, I think if anybody knows how to deal with mech, it must be GuMiho.
Yep, and he's going to be going for that stim in the world, the combat shields. Getting that 1-1 going. Hellions in the middle of the map see Marine tank, and I'll be honest, he's got to be quivering his boots a little bit on the other side because he's got a lockdown for a long time if Maru wants to win this game.
Yeah, Maru's going to have trouble floating out that CC. I mean, he could do it right now, but the longer he waits, I think the harder it's going to get.
Yeah.
I think it's setting and doing it right now. I understand that he's worried that if he exposes his tanks, then maybe GuMiho can just run forward and kill it. But without stim, it's always very hard to accomplish that. Good scan there, as gets at least one Banshee. The other Banshee, there's a turret there, I think, though, right? Yeah, it's still like 8 SCVs again, though. It's like it's nothing. Yes, he lost 2 Banshees, but he forced out 2 scans and he killed 9 SCVs.
Yeah.
Once again, GuMiho is up 21 workers while we're not even 9 minutes into this game.
Brutal stuff at the moment here for Maru. His army continues to move across the map. And again, the one thing that he has as a benefit is that he will be on so many tanks at his front that he can be on lockdown. So he'll keep hold of his corner. But again, to reiterate, it's only the corner that he will have. So GuMiho can take the rest of the map. There will be maybe Hellion run-bys, but that's about it.
No +2 army yet for Gumi there, so that's a small shame. I mean, GuMiho is probably indeed going to go for that soft container. It's like, okay, you know, you want to sit in your 2 bases? Fine, let's do it. Let's actually sit on your 2 bases. I've got 4 bases on my side of the map. We do have a bunch of Hellions, so let's take a look at these Hellions real quick in the left bottom side. Driving by these bio units, line them up. That's actually quite a few SCVs. Ooh, Maru doesn't get the money shot that he was looking for.
That's a money shot.
Oh, that is one though.
Yeah, not too bad at all. 11 go down. More in this space as well.
Yeah, adding up 13 SCVs, that's not bad, and that actually brings us a lot closer towards each other in the worker department.
The one problem though for Maru is that he just saw the extent of his opponent's bases and then the extra barracks being set up at that 4th base.
Well, he did just move out. Since GuMiho didn't go for that container we potentially thought he went for, GuMiho is going to scout right now. He's going to siege up in range of these refineries though. Maybe that was the plan all along.
And maybe drawing him out of position at the moment. Those Vikings causing a few problems. He doesn't have the counter-air in the position, but Marines will be there to slow it down if they go further.
Yeah, it's still hard for Maru, right? He's down so much in supply. You can't just really run into your opponent, especially not when they are the ones playing bio. You're playing mech. We've got that drop as well. Drop in the main base. Couple of Hellions going to get picked off immediately. And look at the mini-map. So many reinforcements coming in as well for GuMiho.
Yeah, they could come in from all angles.
It's so smart how he kind of like let Maru out of his corner. He's like, you want to get out of your cage? That's fine. Now I'm going to shut down your refineries. At the same time, he's going to stim forward. He's going to try to kill these tanks. Maybe a little overeager there, GuMiho.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
Because his position was actually great because he denied the turret and 4 gas. And who wants to be, you know, a 2 refinery mech player?
Yeah, it's not comfortable at all. That being said, though, still a lot of reinforcements coming in here for GuMiho, but you're right, he didn't really shut down that tank line as quite as effectively as he wanted to. Now he's going to push in, realizing that it's unsieged here, and those Marauders are going to do a lot of damage to the Hellbats as well as those siege tanks in the back.
Yeah, that already went a lot better than the previous push, and he had 30 supply more in that one.
Yep.
Can, of course, always still go for drops as well, since Maru has been quite poor, and Maru has been playing the catch-up game for a long time. He doesn't really have a lot of missile turrets, so his base is very, very droppable.
Let's see how he's going to be able to do it at the top.
You said there were little hands in the refinery. I don't see it.
You see the
gas. Yeah,
go to a Terran refinery. There we go. On the little edge, just kind of like taking them in and out and in and out on the edge. See?
Oh, yeah, the little barrels.
And they only do it if the SCVs are actually moving in and out.
Yeah, I've never paid attention to it. It's quite cute.
Oh, another great spot.
There's a massive drop in the main base as well. Those units are in range of the tank. But let's take a look at that drop in the main. Even though Maru is trying to drop on top of it as well with his own Hellbats and Vikings, Maru is making some magic happen here, James.
Yeah, those Hellbats to clean this up has been really, really nice. But that does leave the front. The idea would be for GuMiho to drop in, draw all the Hellbats away, and then push the front of siege tanks that don't have Hellbats to complement them. But he hasn't had enough of a force to do both at the same time.
I think Maru has really done it when it comes to... I loved GuMiho's plan early on. He kind of wanted Maru to go down that ramp so he could siege up in range of those refineries in the natural, shut that gas income down, which I think was brilliant. But I think he got overeager when he tried to stim forward and just straight up win the game, which is very unlike GuMiho, who's normally you know, quite a passive player and really doesn't close out games unless he's 100% sure that he can do it. And now suddenly Maru is closer than he's ever been in this game. They're dead even on workers. Maru has his third base. I mean, Gumi is still a base up, but he's playing bio, and you know, bio players are often a base up against a mech player.
For Maru, the ace up his sleeve will always be the amount of Hellbats he has in those medevacs, because you drop those across your opponent's siege tanks when they come along. You drop those to counter those drops that are coming into your main base. They're very, very important for Maru right now.
GuMiho is still running circles. I think it's absolutely crucial that GuMiho can deny this fourth base that Maru obviously is planning for. A couple of tanks in the high ground going to take care of that sensor tower. Maru is going to rebuild it immediately. How do you feel about sensor towers? I've never been a fan of that building. I mean, I think they're very good.
Yeah.
I feel like it's so much of a heads up. You know, I always feel bad when I play a late game against Terran. And there's a bunch of Olympic rings on my mini-map. I'm like, come on.
They're just getting ready for Pyeongchang, mate. That's
yeah.
No, it's an interesting discussion. I think they can be very powerful.
I think they're very useful. I think if you have 4 bases, there's almost no need ever, or no reason ever to not at least have one sensor tower.
Yeah. It's a very strong defensive posture. But of course, because all the races are asymmetrical, some, you know, races have advantages where others don't.
Of course. I mean, observers are also a great scout because they're actually invisible. I mean, Zerk is Zerk. They see everything.
Ah, yes. That good old argument.
We got a bunch of turrets now up as well. So Maru is finally safe against those drops, but he's actually done an amazing job defending against those drops without being overly safe. Meanwhile, GuMiho is just going to continue doing what he has been doing throughout this game and the previous one as well, and that is expand like a madman. But Maru is reaching 170 supply, so he's about to get 180. He's close to maxed out as a mech player. I mean, GuMiho is going to have to run circles around Maru and make sure that he doesn't run into tanks that are set up.
Yeah, he's just going to have to keep mobile, keep it going. Because in theory, this game it's at 15 minutes now. It could go on for another 20 minutes quite happily.
I love the color of the scans on the mini-map.
Yeah?
It's like, what a time to be alive, guys. UI has been so much...
God, you remember when it wasn't colored?
Yep.
Jeez.
I mean, it seems like GuMiho is going to stim in from every angle. Does have a really good split on his bio unit.
That's a big force coming in here for GuMiho to try and break down those siege tanks, and indeed he does. I said it could go on for 15 minutes. I'd be surprised if it goes on for 50 more seconds at this point here from GuMiho. He has so much available to him.
Damn, 1 second. These tanks are not sieged up. Maru not thinking that GuMiho would go for it one more time after that previous disaster, but GuMiho did just go for it. He's going to stim in even further. He gets 2 tanks. There's 1 tank in the back line, though. Now a couple of Thors start showing up. The Vikings on the ground. There's barely any. Yeah, the Vikings should try to kill all the medevacts here.
Yeah,
there's like 3 Marines in that army.
Yeah, not exactly something that he's very happy with about that. Reinforcements coming across the map as well here.
Taking care of medevacs is actually very useful. Obviously, you take away the power of the push, but also medevacs are quite expensive. These Vikings can easily, and they deny the vision as well if you would get all of them.
Especially if you need to contest like air dominance later on, because he's getting Vikings right now, but if he had to have been producing medevacs in place of that, could have been a different story.
Yeah, Maru really should have been trying to kill a couple of these medevacts. Some of them are 1 hit away from dying anyway. These 2 tanks are very low on HP. The Tor getting dropped on the low ground will take care of it. Double kill for that big boy.
Maru might have stabilized a little bit, but will it be enough though, as the bio's going to come in again with these siege tanks. Here comes some Hellbats dropped in from Maru, trying to be aggressive into this position on those siege tank lines, and not pushing it back too much here. The siege tanks are still in range of the command center.
Got his 1 tank with like 2 HP. Needs to repair that CC. Wants to make sure he doesn't lose it. He's going to try to force out 1 more scan. Yeah, the Liberator is going to save this area as well. And now Maru could potentially snipe a couple of these medevacts as well that were trying to save these tanks. Well done. Excellent hold by Maru.
Yeah, good fights. Back and forth here. Maru still holding on. Got himself that 4th base down to the bottom right. That's where GuMiho might set his attention on though at the moment, as you can see in this center tower.
It's so funny as well because they were scanning each other non-stop, and it really felt that Maru knew exactly what GuMiho's plan was, and he's like, all right, I'm getting very close to that 185, 195, and then I'm ready to party at any given time. I'll love to try out my mech army against your bio army. And right in that moment, GuMiho sees one moment where he feels Maru is slipping, just jumps on it immediately, stims forward, gets the first 4 or 5 tanks, and he had such a wide spread as well on all of his bio units.
It's a good position here for GuMiho to try and find another angle around this bottom side, although the sensor towers persist. Not only that one that was down towards the bottom, but the remake of the one at the top. So there's always opportunities for Maru to, you know, spot things coming along his way.
The scans being thrown down once again, back and forth. Don't have Liberator range yet, right? Or does it actually, I think it's being researched right now, advanced ballistics. So GuMiho could perhaps make something happen with some nifs, but then again, I think the Viking count is still heavily in favor of Maru, and Maru should also have the better upgrade. These helmets are gonna transform right into the dead zone of the tank. GuMiho had a couple buy units to prevent that from happening.
Speaking of a cute move, trying to block this CC location with a turret.
If the turret finishes up, it's going to do quite a bit of damage. Yes. Yes.
Away. Poor little fella.
It reminds me of my brothers on a turret.
Oh, I saw that clip. Dude, why did he have like 6 turrets?
Because he didn't know how to build a barracks.
Oh, that was the reason?
It was like his second game ever. He just had no idea.
It was pretty sick though. They got those turrets. Here comes the big push here for GuMiho, trying to break down this position before the planetary fortress morphs in.
That's an excellent push here by GuMiho. Maru just not in the right position to hold it. Lots of Vikings in the mix this time for GuMiho as well. And that orbital, I mean, it was barely done finishing into an orbital and it was already dead in the water. Now GuMiho is actually picking up all of his units in medevacs as well. He's going to fly into turrets. The Vikings were a little bit too far south. Who's going to win this air battle?
These turrets not as effective as Roddy Brothers, as they're going to be smashed down very quickly there. GuMiho now in the infrastructure can easily break down a lot of this, but those Liberators being annoying.
And this is already excellent for GuMiho. Even if he ends up losing all of these units, even if these units are trapped, it doesn't really matter. With the economy that GuMiho has, this is already a good trade, and anything besides this point is bonus.
Aside from the few Hellion run-bys, everything has been on the side of the map of Maru, and then from there, he's just been taking so much damage economically, as well as the infrastructure, as we say, in the main base. So he loses all of this, but it's just time for the remax.
Yep, I mean, GuMiho is down on supply for a split second, but with all the bases that he has, and he had a lot of bank, I think he has an insane amount of units queued up at the moment, because he had over 3,000 minerals in the bank. He's producing 4 medevacs at a time. I think it was okay there, especially after killing, you know, the... I can count 5th base before, taking out that main orbital as well. You reduce the amount of scans that Maru is working with. And Maru might feel that this is his moment. He's like, okay, you lost so many units. Maybe I should run to the other side of the map, but I'm not sure if he can do that. GuMiho has insane amount of reinforcements.
Yeah, this is the one window Maru has, but as you say, it's going to be very difficult. There's all in. One Liberator already falls. Next one goes down as well. Those Vikings getting a few pot shots off wherever they may. The Thors really need to be in range to complement it when it comes along. Here come the Liberation Zones. Bio's going to push forwards. Vikings going to kill everything off in the sky. Yep,
Maru lost the majority of his Vikings, and that is a very big problem. He's going to be forced to land his Vikings. Now he's rolling into siege tanks with unsiege tanks, and surprisingly, actually somehow taking them out. But can these tanks really survive against the never-ending string of Marines that is coming in?
Here come the land as well, and that is going to be all she wrote really for Maru. These remaining siege tanks will fall, and then from there he has very little to his name. Just a few reinforcing tanks. Scan goes down on these bases. GuMiho is happy with that, and he's going to march onto the remaining bases.
That's what you're hoping for if you GuMiho. You scan 12 o'clock, nothing. You scan 4 o'clock, nothing. It's like, all right, after those 2 bases are killed before and all the units you just lost, you're going to have a very tough time rebuilding that army that you just sacrificed. GuMiho knows that this is his game to lose right now. Gumi's macro is insane, isn't it? Like, he's very active with his army. He doesn't really skip a beat, doesn't make silly arrows, but he's always expanding like a madman.
Yeah, it's just phenomenal. As I say, in his TvT especially, he just knows exactly what he needs to do. Doesn't care about the anti-air that he flies across, straight to the production, straight to killing off tanks as they come out. And that is going to be factories falling as well as the starport.
And all of his Vikings suddenly show up as well. They took a little bit of a detour, but they are here right now. So these medevacs are going to fall too for Maru. That one Tor has been doing a lot of work and should maybe eventually be able to clean this up together with... Oh, the Vikings just landing, killing the tanks on the ramp. I think this is going to be it. GuMiho just destroyed everything in the main base of Maru. Maru doesn't have much left.
Excellent stuff from GuMiho there in game number 2. And now he's 1 game away from qualifying for the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice. What can you say? Just brilliant, brilliant play. Once again, got himself in a very good position early on. I think the only mistake we truly saw is when he let Maru come down the ramp, which was his plan because he wanted to get in range of those refineries, which I think was very smart. But then I think that GuMiho looked at it like, ha, that's nothing. And then he ran forward, and it turned out that it was quite something as all of his bio units disappeared very quickly. It's very clear that in this series, especially in that game, that even when you say, as you say, that mistake, which was his plan, he is dictating a lot of what is going on in this game. And for Maru to try and kind of seize back the wheel of this ship that's currently careering out of control for him, it's not going to be easy against someone like GuMiho.
Absolutely not. The next game is going to be played on Odyssey. GuMiho just needs one more. I'm starting to struggle a little bit, James. It's starting to get very hard, very late here. And I suddenly realized that my brain is like sometimes shooting out. It's like, what's happening? It's like, oh, that's 5 a.m. Night shift.
Yep.
GuMiho, one map away from qualifying for the Intel Extreme Masters World Championship Series. Then again, this is always a cliche, and I hate it when people say it, but if anybody can make a comeback, it's Maru. I do believe, though. I think Maru is absolutely phenomenal, and he has been since I think I started watching him in StarCraft II.
I think he just needs to play his own thing, which is just be hyper-aggressive.
Yeah, I think the first game he got a tiny bit unlucky. I don't think that should disencourage him. Just keep going for it. You know, maybe your starport doesn't get scouted, or maybe you mix it up. Maybe you try to drop Hellions in the main. So do something crazy. I guess it's really hard to get Hellions early on, because then your opponent can... I've seen a lot of TvTs where one player is making a lot of cool moves. You know, it's like Hellion Rest here, Reaper there, Cloak Banshee, and then the opponent loses like 17 STVs. Like, okay, that was fun and all, but now I've got 8 Cyclones, which I know you can't have because of everything else you built. And they roll across the map, and you know, if your tanks are not protected, Cyclones roll in and win.
Yep. And to deal with Cyclones, normally you need Cyclones. And with a little bit of buffer of light units at the front.
Fight fire with fire, James.
That's right, and then we're not talking about Hellions here. Let's get into game number 3, as we have Odyssey going to be our next map between these two players. But GuMiho is rocketing ahead at the moment. He's one game away. And up to the top left, it is the man himself for Storm Gaming. It's GuMiho.
Definitely has been an amazing pickup for Storm Gaming.
Yeah.
Even 1 damage ESL. Of course, they would love to see him in action at the Intel Extreme Masters. Can this man make a comeback? As he is once again being hyper-aggressive, James. He's going back to his roots, maybe perhaps a little too. We'll see how it plays out. It is Maru.
Maybe if GuMiho is able to deal with this, the boss will let him drive the Ferrari before the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice. Who knows?
I'm not sure. I've seen those clips of Pingwing like supposedly driving the Ferrari.
Don't let him.
No, and I spoke with him. I was like, Pingwing, there is no way that you actually drove the thing. He's like, no, of course not. I was only allowed to I have no license. I was like, even if you had a license, Pingwing, there is no way they let you drive that thing.
I want to just kind of coax them into letting me drive the Ferrari, maybe even just down the road to say, I've driven a Ferrari. That'd be nice.
I've driven a Ferrari once.
Have you?
Yeah, in Paris with Todd and Apollo. They were cramped. We were all cramped into this car and one more guy. We rented it for like an hour. So it was great.
Living the high life.
Took a picture, kneeled in the profile. Let's go, baby.
Absolutely.
Ferrari, California.
Oh, dear me. My dad got gifted one of those track days for Christmas, and he's
that seems so cool to me. I'd love to do it once.
He's super excited to do it because my dad really likes driving fast, to a point where I got to, well, as these Reapers come out, I got back one time and I saw on his speedometer a sticker that said "Stop speeding," and I was like, "Dad, what have you been doing?" So he's excited for that.
I'd love to go to a racing track once. I like kart racing as well. Indoor karts is very fun.
I haven't done it for a long time. I enjoyed that.
We need to do that once with all the crew.
The crew.
Just everybody of SC2. Let's go.
That would be a sick YouTube video, right?
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. All right, so GuMiho is not scouted yet. He is sending out his first Reaper. That means that his Reaper is out of position. And take a look at that Cyclone, James. It's going to take a very long time before that Cyclone is out. Now, of course, Cyclone, look at that STV. He's like attacking the factory. He's like, I'm going to prevent this Cyclone from ever coming out. In the end, it does fall quite quickly. Reapers are doing a lot of damage, but they need to do a lot of damage.
Yes.
Cyclone is, I think, seconds away from popping at this point.
They want to really be on the Cyclone, though, as soon as it comes out, really. Because if it starts getting
I think
repaired,
you just avoid the Cyclone. You just try to kill all the STVs.
Can you get away with that?
Yeah, I think you can. You throw grenades, keep yourself safe.
Tries. Not too bad there. KD8 charges, keeping it away. Getting some more SCVs here. 11 versus 18 at the moment.
It does end up losing 2 Reapers there in the end. That's a shame. This one Reaper of GuMiho has actually got 4 kills, as well as we've got a freeze. I don't know who that was. Oh my god, that factory is not even done yet because of this Reaper. This one Reaper that GuMiho sent to the other side of the map that I thought was going to work against him actually did an insane amount of damage.
Gotta continue being careful though at home with that Cyclone. Needs to make sure he's greeting the Reapers.
So it's 14 against 19, but a big tech advantage in favor of GuMiho. So GuMiho down in workers though, that's something we haven't seen yet in this series.
No, it's true. It's true. He is ahead in tech though, unfortunately, for Maru, which that with the cloak on the way, it's kind of scary.
Oh, misfire there, I think, by GuMiho, but he uses the high ground as well to save his own Reaper. I think he could have killed one of those Reapers, but still a great save of his own Reaper.
So one barracks is going to be used for scouting, the other barracks is going to go home.
I love games like this. I don't know, they make me happy. Because TvT is always known as like this, you know, beautiful matchup that is tactical and fast.
It's a game of chess, guys.
Yeah,
it's a game of chess.
Yeah, and I just love it when we get down and dirty and we just make Reapers and we try to kill all the SCVs and one Reaper gets 7 kills on the other side of the map. I don't know, must be the Protoss in me.
Yeah, probably. There's a lot of that going on in Protoss.
Yes. So we oh wow, look at that Cyclone. The way that the guns spin is so cool.
Yeah.
When that barracks was hovering over it. I'm learning so many new things about the graphics of SC2 when I'm actually paying attention. I just know what damage units do.
At 5 AM.
Yeah.
How is this a thing?
Look, it's so cool. It's like a turret.